I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. The city's 200th anniversary is a great way to celebrate the rich history of this area. Watch as local artists honor the past through music and spoken word during the Voices of Ann Arbor.
Voices of Ann Arbor, I feel, are the composers and the poets and the writers that this town has been a kind of arboretum for. And this was a opportunity to take what Ann Arbor is through the years, from its German immigration to its locus as an underground railroad, to its protest songs in the 60s. And we sort of weaved Ann Arbor composers and Ann Arbor poets, fresh poetry for the occasion, to make a concert out of it.
I think the official way of describing it is town and gown, right? That mixture between the city and the people of the city, and then also having the university here with all the resources that they have. So it's bringing this two sides of the city together, I think, is what enriches the evening.
My very own Sunday morning in deep waters day.
Where there's protest, there's usually art, and where there's lots of different sort of controversy, there's art. And Ann Arbor was kind of a breeding ground for that.
Music makes the air vibrate. It reaches your ears through vibration, and there's something about music which enters our bodies and opens us up ready for messages.
This was also a way of reflecting about Ann Arbor and how you see yourself through that lens.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. The city is home to more than 160 must-see parks with scenic views, places to play, and some top-notch facilities. See all that Dolph Nature Area has to offer during this Park Peek. Dolph Nature Area is a 75.2-acre park on the city's west side. One of Ann Arbor's most beautiful parks, it includes open water, wetland and marsh habitat, as well as forest and shrubland. The park is home to first and second sister lakes, the only naturally formed kettle lakes in Ann Arbor. As vegetation colonizes open water, kettle lakes can turn into bogs over time. First Sister Lake is in the early stages of this process. The floating vegetation mat on First Sister Lake comprises the only bog in Ann Arbor's park system. Over 140 bird species have been recorded in Dolph, like downy and red-bellied woodpeckers, green herons, wood ducks, and American bitterns, along with various species of turtles and frogs. All trails are unpaved and most are narrow. Some trails cut through shrubby areas. A trail bisecting the park is wider. There are benches throughout the trail system, and the two lakes have platforms or docks and offer good fishing opportunities. Parking is available in the main lot off Wagner Road or along the street on Park Lake Avenue on the east side of the park.
For more information about Dolph Nature Area or other Ann Arbor City parks, visit a2gov.org/parks.
School bells are ringing and the roads and walkways are much busier as students flood through the hallways and get back into the groove of learning. Get back to school safety tips in this month's City Roundup.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Mark Pulford with the Ann Arbor Police Department. Today we want to share with you 4 safety tips for the upcoming school year. The first one is always stop. So if you're approaching a stop sign or a traffic signal, make sure you stop in advance of the crosswalk because chances are there's going to be people crossing there. The second one is stay alert. Distracted driving kills, and one of the worst ways or worst forms of distracted driving is texting and driving. So put the phone down and keep your eyes on the roadway. The third one is to keep your distance. There'll be a lot of school buses on the road. If you see a school bus with the lights on or the arm down, you are required to stop. You have to stop 20 feet away from the school bus, and that includes both directions. The only exception is if it's a divided highway. The fourth one is to be patient. With the new school year, people are rushed, people are getting used to the routines, so we recommend the night before school, set out clothing and lunches, anything that you may need the following day to make your morning a little smoother and the commute a little less stressful. We hope that you have a great school year and be safe.
It's known throughout the state that Ann Arbor has lofty climate change goals and is at the cutting edge of carbon neutrality. To keep progress moving in the right direction, the city hosts a Green Fair, sharing the latest environmentally sound technology with the public. Joining me is Mayor Christopher Taylor. Welcome back to the show.
My pleasure to be here.
Let's talk about, obviously, the Green Fair started with Mayor Hiefscha. I was actually just thinking about this. How long have you been the mayor?
I've been mayor since 2014, so this will be my 10th Green Fair.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, he has to be the mayor for at least 10 years now. And yeah. I believe Hiefscha was the mayor around 10 years too.
14 years. So the gentleman still has a little bit on me.
Still.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was wondering because he was a long-running mayor, but you are now too. It's crazy to think that you've been the mayor for a decade. Isn't that crazy for you to think that it's been?
I know it's been well, it's not stress-free, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're a great mayor, and we love having you.
Tell me more.
Well, why don't you talk about continuing, this idea that Mayor Hiefscha had and growing the Green Fair because it is growing. I feel like it grows as the years pass on.
Absolutely. So, the Green Fair kind of got off the ground way back when Mayor Hiefscha wanted to make sure that there was a focal community point for all the great work that was being done out in the community on matters environmental and certainly within the municipal organization. And those efforts continue, of course, both at City Hall and elsewhere. We have over the past couple of years expanded the scope of the Green Fair as we, as a municipal organization and community, have been focusing even more on combating climate change and doing our own work to accomplish community-wide carbon neutrality under the A20 plan. So if you come to Green Fair, and I hope you will, you'll see a lot of organizations from the community throughout the fair, but you'll also see what we're doing here at the city, or some of the things that we're doing here at the city to help our environment and help accomplish our A20 goals.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the city and what they're doing because I feel like those carbon neutrality goals are coming up. We're not that far away from 2030 now. Yeah. And the city is doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know about if you're just the general public. But then when you start reading more and more, you're like, wow, this is amazing. There's more solar going up and this and that happening. So what are some of the things that have happened in the city that you're like, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah. So we've got all sorts of stuff going on. We, the city has over the course of the past couple of years been able to, purchase $11 million worth of solar panels, thanks to work done at the federal level with the Biden-Harris administration's American Rescue Plan and the Inflation Reduction Act. That is, taking essentially addressing, all of the municipal organizations' electricity now through our solar panels, which is of course outstanding. We, as a community, have passed our community climate action millage, giving the city funds to, go out into the community and encourage residents to take advantage of those federal rebates, the 30% rebate on, heat pumps and solar panels and geothermal and other energy efficiency programs and infrastructure. We too are encouraging and supporting residents as they are putting together energy efficiency appliances and work on the home through our own layered rebates, which are going to be on top of those federal rebates. And crucially and importantly, and this is something about which I'm incredibly excited, we at the city are putting out City Proposal A, Amendment A, which is going to be on the November ballot. That's going to ask the voters for our authority to create a sustainable energy utility, which is an opt-in energy utility, 100% renewable, reliable, which will overlay existing utilities. So we're not going to supplant the existing utility with this action, but we're going to overlay it. It's going to enable residents who choose to participate. If you don't want to participate, you don't have to, but it's going to enable residents who choose to participate to have the SEU, the Sustainable Energy Utility, put solar panels on your house. And you'll buy electricity from those solar panels, and it'll be at par with DTE, or we hope even less. It's an exciting prospect. It's City Proposal A, and it will not result in the increase of taxes. It's really a low cost effort to get more sustainable, renewable, reliable energy throughout our community.
Interesting, because the last couple of years you see more and more people. Like I had people come to my door about Ann Arbor Power and stuff, and I know the city wasn't necessarily affiliated with that, but they were looking for alternatives to DTE. So the ball is rolling with that, and we are getting closer to that point.
Yeah, those are different paths. We are, since you asked about the public power, we are rolling out a $1 million phase 2 study to get a better sense of what it would cost taxpayers, cost ratepayers to purchase all DTE's existing distribution infrastructure, and what it would cost eventually to improve it. But at this juncture, that's not what this ask is about. This ask is unrelated to that particular ask. Your opinions about public power, one way or the other, the SEU can satisfy both. It will certainly be an opportunity for the city to create its own electric utility, its own energy utility. Crucially, I say energy utility because it's not just electricity. We'll also be able to utilize geothermal districting, which is incredibly exciting. But then, too, it does not involve taking over the existing utility with all of its infrastructure in its current condition.
Well, tell me a little bit about when the Green Fair is this year, because it's autumnal now, so we're expecting it in September, October time. And is it a bigger footprint than it used to be?
We're super excited about the footprint. It's going to be, you'll come down to Main Street and you'll be amazed at all the various booths and the people downtown. It's going to, I believe, September 20th. We will have, a delegation from our sister city in Tübingen at the Green Fair as well. They'll be coming in here for a week, and we're so excited to welcome folks from overseas who've done a great deal of work with respect to climate action. Lord Mayor Palmer, their mayor, is a environmental activist of long standing. He's a mayor of long standing, and Tübingen's done a lot of great work, and we're excited to show him what we're up to here in the city of Ann Arbor.
I did not realize that Tübingen sort of had the same values as Ann Arbor. And that's so interesting that they are sister cities in that respect, that they really care about the environment and the future.
Oh yeah, Tübingen definitely has the same vibe as the city of Ann Arbor. We don't have the benefit of an Altstadt from the 1500s. Our downtown looks a little different than their downtown, but they are incredibly on the front foot when it comes to taking local climate action, taking regional climate action. The roads are lousy with bikes. It's a great thing. They've got bicycle parking structures, bicycle roundabouts, and they have the volume to support it. From that perspective, it's for me personally, it's a real inspiration. I have not been a bike commuter during most of my adult life, having gone to Tübingen this past summer, not this in 23. I was inspired to hop on my bike, and by both that experience and the increasingly safe infrastructure in the city with our protected bikeways. And now I'm committed, and I just love doing it, and it's good for the environment. I'm just so glad to be moving forward.
That's so great. I actually was going to mention in this interview that I've seen you on your bike on the road.
Oh, is that right? Oh, how funny. Yes, I've got my.
There's the mayor.
Look at him. Yes, I've got my my nerdy Dutch upright e-bike, and I always wear a high vis vest because it's important that people be able to see. And I just got a helmet yesterday, or yesterday, that has lights on it. So visibility is super important. Making sure road awareness is super important. My experience has been great riding my bicycle. I've since October, in October 23, I've basically been a bike commuter, except when it rains, literally whilst raining or whilst snowing, and have put in over 600 miles on my bike, and my experience has been wonderful. The infrastructure coming in and out of the downtown is safe and improving, and the bike parking is obviously easy peasy. It's just been great.
Yeah, I've been trying to do it more. I have one of those trailers on the back for the baby, and now that my
Oh yeah,
daughter can ride a two-wheeler, it's easier because I feel like when you have a kid with training wheels, it's a little harder. You feel weird in the bike lanes.
yeah, I can see
I
that.
did. I don't know. But now that
No,
she's on two-wheeler, she's more solid. And so yeah, I've been utilizing. I was a little scared of the bike lanes at first, but now you're right. Now that they're better than ever, the bike lanes. They're protected. They feel safer to me, especially
yeah.
with kids.
Absolutely. And, in addition, we are seeing higher levels of adoption. And that sort of increases the visibility of your bike because drivers are used to seeing cyclists. They know to look out for them. Cyclists, I look out for myself too all the time. Of course, that's my first line of defense. But seeing other bikers on the road, it makes it changes the driving and transportation culture in a community. I just couldn't be more excited about where we're going.
Yeah, and honestly, you're right. I mean, years ago, we adopted that law where you're supposed to move over a little bit so the
Yeah.
bikers have a little bit more room. And you see people doing it all the time now, which I'm like so happy about
Oh,
because
totally.
you want everyone to be safe out there, regardless of what mode of transportation that you
Yeah.
provide, that you like. You want everyone to feel comfortable on the road, even if you just bike to the Dairy Queen or, bike to the park
Yeah.
and then you drive to work, but you want everyone to feel comfortable.
That's right. The roads are there for all users, right? And it's important that we all realize that, and I think people are doing their best to get along.
We had updated some of our house. We updated the kitchen and I switched to an induction stove.
Oh, yeah.
And
How is
I
it?
love it. I love the induction stove. It's so great.
Yeah.
It's actually the rapid boil part. Like you can boil something like boiling water within minutes. Like
Oh,
it's so fast. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really cool. So what have you done? Have you done anything recently that or even just like you've had your solar panels for a while. How do they feel in the house? That like when you lose power and like you're probably not even really affected by it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've so what we've done, we don't have induction yet. We moved into a new house relatively recently, and so but I really want one because I know that they're well, in addition to being good for the absence of the gas burn, it's good for the internal air. You're not burning gas, a carcinogen within your house, and the performance is excellent. So I'm excited about ultimately getting an induction stove. The solar panel experience has been totally great. We've got a 7.2 array on the roof. We've got a two 13 kilowatt batteries in the basement. So we are really able to, with a little bit of attention, get through almost anything a blackout has to offer. Over the course of the winter during the ice storm, we were out for I think 4 days more recently, and we kept our lights down. We didn't get too crazy. But the heat stayed on, the refrigerator and freezer stayed going. We were able to do what we needed to do. The Wi-Fi and internet worked, so we were able to maintain. And certainly over the summer, we've had outages here and there. And with the battery, we are able to get on by. It's just been great. This year, bought an electric mower, an electric leaf blower, and so that's been a new experience for us as we do our own yard work, and it's been perfect. It's worked super well, and I'm just so glad to have taken the step.
Oh, well, I'm jealous of your electric mower because I still have a gas one because we bought it when we bought our house. But
Yeah.
I'm like, when that one goes, I'm going electric. I don't even want to deal with the gas mower anymore. Obviously, it's not good for the environment, but it's also a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep track of. It's been super easy for the electric mower. It's got two batteries. You swap them in, you swap them out. And with if you we charge them inside the house during the day when the solar's rolling. So it's it's all carbon free. It's outstanding.
Wow, great. You were talking about that you're a bike commuter now, and kicking off with the Green Fair is the World Car Free Challenge.
Uh-huh.
And for someone that's newer to being a bike commuter, why do you think people should try it and just get out of their cars and try it for a week?
Yeah, I mean, I think well, first off, because yeah, it's there is just something good about being out on the road. It's a yeah, it just makes you feel good as an animal, as a
Yeah.
person riding. It's just a pleasure to do it. So number one, it's a pleasure to do it. Number two, obviously, changing our behavior to be more mindful of our impact is part of the cultural challenge that we have when it comes to addressing climate change. We got here because of the stuff we're doing, the way that we were doing it. We can't get out of here without changing. And so taking a week off of your car is a great way to challenge yourself to see if you can adjust. And I think folks would be surprised. I think they I like I said, I'm not a super outdoorsy person. I haven't been a bike rider for years, but having made sort of a personal commitment to give it a try, I found that it really worked. I took 3 months on a regular bike to see whether it would stick. And then, when I sort of looked at myself in the mirror and said, I think I'm actually doing this, an e-bike. I won't say the provider, but they're downtown on on First, and gosh, I just couldn't be more excited. The e-bike really just you're always going downhill, wind's always at your back. You show up at your meeting not without not being sweaty. It's just great. So I'd encourage people to get out and give it a try. The bike infrastructure is there. It's getting better, and so do what you can, give it a go.
Yeah, those e-bikes are great too because Ann Arbor is really hilly. You don't realize until you get on a non-e-bike, and then all
Yeah,
of a sudden you're like, "Whoa, I'm going uphill a lot."
it's not San Francisco, but they're
Yeah.
they're they're there,
Yeah,
and you sure know
it's
it.
not as obvious when you drive, and then when
Yeah,
you get on your bike, you're like, whoa, even in my neighborhood, I'm like, I'm going uphill to get out of the neighborhood every time. And
yeah.
I notice it more because my daughter struggles to go up the hills on her bike. So
You're
then
like, come on,
sometimes we have
baby, you
to,
can do it.
yeah,
Yeah,
so sometimes I have to get off and walk with her. But
yeah.
it's harder for me now because I'm pulling a carriage with extra, like a baby weight in it. So
Oh
it's just
yeah,
heavier. It's just heavier.
yeah.
So, but why don't you talk about some of, the Green Fair obviously is a place of knowledge and to learn things, but there's
Yep.
also activities and music and fun things to do. And I know last year we talked about bringing old t-shirts and getting them screen printed and stuff like that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, staff has, we'll have music. There'll be, I think there'll be some street art here and there. It's just a great time to come on down to Main Street. Enjoy what Main Street has to offer as a general matter, but then also see the great work that's being done at the municipal organization and throughout the community to help the environment and help reduce our carbon footprint.
Another thing that the Green Fair is sort of encapsulated is the A2 Tech 360, it's called now.
Yeah.
Why is that a part of the Green Fair? And do you see a lot of these tech companies being innovative towards the environment?
Yeah, well, most tech companies are forward-looking. Like that's the ethos of the thing, and that's the ethos of A20. That's the ethos of looking to accomplish community-wide carbon neutrality. And many of our solutions do have a tech component to them. The solar panels, they they're great, but they're better when they have a battery, and this battery technology is obviously crucial. The solar panel and the battery, that's great, but it's doubly great when you have an app and you can adjust, your usage and your reserve power and so forth. And so that's just one example. All these things working together in order to create a solution that homeowners can deploy to reduce their carbon footprint.
Can you talk about, you know, obviously, like people think about like your change is money too, like it costs money, but it doesn't
Yeah.
always cost money. It can be something as simple as not throwing away stuff and giving it to your neighbors or shopping at a thrift shop or, using old paper to wrap presents. Can you talk about that aspect of it too? Because I think that is a big part of it.
Yeah,
Just
well,
changing your mindset.
you're kind of touching upon the circular economy, the zero waste economy, and that is well, that's part of our A20 program too. It's really looking throughout your daily life, seeing where you can make small improvements, and over time, those small improvements turn into great things. Like I love yogurt, and I'm just, I've spent, over the past couple of years, have been taken to make my own yogurt, and it's not a big thing, but that's it's a lot of cartons
Containers.
that don't get that don't get bought and don't get thrown out. My mom for years, she's a quilter, and so you mentioned wrapping presents. Like we've got fabric wrapping paper that gets reused, and it's just well, it's homey and it's efficient. And so, those are like the littlest of things, but like we said, and like everyone says, they do add up, and it makes a big difference over time.
I also find it interesting when you live in a place like Ann Arbor that does care so much about the environment. When you go visit friends and family that live in other cities, and maybe they're just starting something like Sterling Heights is really not, that's where I'm from and that's where my family lives. They haven't really been recycling for that long. So like curbside recycling is fairly newer to the city, and it's now,
Yeah,
it was something that was, you had to buy in originally, like you'd have to buy in and pay so much a year for it, but
yeah,
now they're like, it's rolled into your taxes. Everyone has to do curbside recycling. But I also find like, not to be a know-it-all, but I'll like be like, Dad, you can't throw that in the recycle bin. Like you go to other places and you try to teach people stuff
yeah.
because you know already and you've lived with it for such a long time. And I think that actually is sort of a neat aspect of living in Ann Arbor, that things that people don't necessarily implement at home in other cities. So you can help them too.
Yeah. Well, knowledge has a snowball effect. Cultural change has a snowball effect. We, here in the city and like the community as a whole, we know that it's climate change is real, and it's crucial that we do our part. And, as we in our own individual lives work on doing our part, we're able to communicate that to other folks, to encourage them to come along. This is how cultural change happens.
Before we go, why don't you tell people, you're obviously at the Green Fair every year. Why should people continue to go year after year to the Green Fair?
I'd say coming down to the Green Fair is a great thing. First, of course, visiting our amazing downtown. It's not just the Green Fair; it's the Green Fair in our downtown, and so you'll get to enjoy that. But with respect to the subject matter, it is an opportunity for you to see and learn what your municipal organization is doing to help combat climate change, to help accomplish our A20 carbon neutrality goals, to help protect our environment, improve our urban forest, our parks, our water, and so forth. And it's a great opportunity for folks to see what other organizations are up to, local nonprofits, local businesses who are also operating crucially and with great value in this space. It's a time for a community to recommit to these goals, to affirm each other, and to have a good time doing it.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for talking about the Green Fair.
It's always a pleasure.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.